back, relax, and maybe get yourself a snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hi guys, so I'm here today to do a Booktube SFF Babbles. I'll put a link to the ones I've already done for this year, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, then the Booktube SFF Awards is an awards that I am part of, and every year as part of the awards we do various topics called Booktube SFF Babbles topics, and these topics are just some sort of theme that you can make videos or posts about. I will put a link to the Goodreads group where you can find out all of the topics if you want to get involved, and we'd love to have you. You can do it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, video, Booktube, it's up to you. We'd just love you to use the hashtag and let us know that you've posted. This week's theme is SFF themed if you like this, try that. And this is literally where you take a book that is maybe more well known, show it on the camera and say, if you like this one, maybe you should try this less well known one. So let's get started. First up, I wanted to do a short story collection. So the one that I think most people have probably heard of on Booktube is this one, The Beginning of the World in the Middle of the Night by Jen Campbell. This came out last year and it's one that a lot of people have been really enjoying and reading. It's kind of magical realism stories, a little bit weird, a little bit different, and very intriguing and unnerving and exciting all at once. And I think that if you like this story, or this collection of stories I should say, then I think you'll probably enjoy other magical realism collections. And my favourite of other magical realism collections is this one, which I think is lesser known, and that is At the Mouth of the River of Bees by Kij Johnson. This is a collection of short stories that I think are beautiful, weird, unnerving, different, very original. Really surprised me how much I enjoyed this collection when I read it. I think if you like Jen Campbell's, then you're probably going to really like this as well. It's still got that lyricism and tone that Jen's has, but it's something a little bit magical too, and it feels very bizarre at times, and I think they definitely have similarities but also some strong unique differences, so definitely one to check out if that sounds like your cup of tea. Next up, I wanted to do a sci-fi one. So obviously lots of people know that this is one of my favourite sci-fis ever, The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. This is a light-hearted, fun sci-fi that really focuses on the characters more than anything, and is just an interesting look at what potentially space could be if we were awesome and all got along and had really fun, cool aliens as well. So if you like this one, I think that one you might want to try, because it's also quite light science fiction, is the author John Wyndham, who I've been binge reading recently. I've read 2 of his books now, but I have a couple more to read. The first one I read was Day of the Triffids by him. This follows a world where one day everyone who is awake and who is looking at the sky when there's this amazing light show going on suddenly becomes blind, and there are also these kind of plants that can sting you and can move around called triffids. So the world goes blind, these plants get loose, and it becomes an epidemic, and we follow a man and a woman that he meets as they try and escape, because they are one of the very few people who can still see, and they need to try and survive somehow. So we follow them in that story. The other one is this one, The Chrysalids, which follows a young boy raised in a very dismissive, horrible society that does not think deviation is okay. So anything that is slightly different from the true image, the normal, is considered really bad. Disability is considered horrendous. Anything that mutates, like crops that mutate or animals that give birth to mutant babies, they are considered heretical and horrible, and so they are killed. And we follow the character David as he grows up in this world, learning all of these things but kind of questioning them and whether or not they should be as strict as they are. He also has a secret himself about his own telekinesis, and he wants to keep that hidden because he knows that if the adults found out, he would be considered a deviant and some terrible things would happen to him. So these are both kind of light science fiction reads, and ones that I think if you like The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, which is very character focused, you may well also really enjoy these. And finally, I wanted to do a kind of fantasy one. If you like Otherland by Tad Williams, or in fact generally Tad Williams' stuff, but particularly Otherland because it has the focus on this virtual reality and you end up living in the world and you can't really escape until you get through all of the different places, and the people we follow are on a mission to try and find loved ones who have got lost in the system. So if you like Otherland and you think it's really cool as a concept, I think the other one that I would recommend is Sufficiently Advanced Magic by Andrew Rowe, which is actually my top book of the year to date still. This is a story about a young boy who goes into a tower to try and ascend through the levels and get some sort of magic. Whilst he is there, he gets this magic, he goes out again, he finds himself learning in the school about his magic, and then he is called back into the tower later on to try and go higher up and find more magic and try and figure out what's happened to his lost brother. So it is again following a character who is going into a world to try and get through levels to find out what's happened to a missing person. And yet this one is more fantastical. The magic is a big focus in this story, and it certainly has that real exciting factor that I think Otherland is a bit slow on. This one's a bit faster paced and will draw you in a bit more. So those are my recommendations for if you like this, try that. I'd love to have some recommendations from you in the comments. If you know anything that is a favourite of mine but you have something similar to recommend, do let me know. Or if you've read any of the ones I just mentioned, I'd love to have that too. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do go and join in with the Babbles. We'd love to have you, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye guys!
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me again.